Okay, and we are back.
Whoa.
Season 2 with Audacity is back in the building. Season 2.
You heard me.
You missed me.
Did you miss us?
We know y'all did.
Welcome back
Audacity Tuesday.
to the podcast
Woo!
dedicated to uplifting, educating, and promoting our community.
Wow.
Doing everything unapologetically. Yeah. And with Audacity, baby, it's Audacity Tuesdays, and we back in this thing, man.
Bow. What up, what up?
Oh my God, y'all, we
Gang,
back
gang.
for
We
season
back.
2.
We back.
So yeah, I'm so excited. We are back. Can y'all tell how excited we are?
I got my people with me.
Oh my God. Yeah, we are back. We are so blessed to have had an entire season. I guess first off, we have to thank you guys, our Audacity fam, for riding with us through an entire first season.
Yes,
oh
sir.
My God.
Yes, sir.
What? When we first started this thing, it was like, okay, we're going to do it. And now we are here for a second season.
We back.
Wow, we're back.
Thank
We've
you,
had
guys.
so many streams.
Thank you.
It is crazy.
Y'all been wearing the heck out of the merch. Looking good, looking fresh, looking blessed.
Good.
Good.
Yeah, it's crazy.
With a T.
Season 2. I don't know. I remember filming the first episode of season 1.
Right.
And all that prep. And now we're here for a whole second season. So many streams, so many YouTube views, so many good, so much good feedback, the reviews, the love, the merch sales.
And y'all still want more.
What?
We trying to give it to you.
Yeah.
That's what we here for.
So yeah, we're back. Season 2. Audacity fam. So yeah, today it is we're talking all about tolerance with Audacity. That's gonna be the topic because it is Black History Month.
Oh, yes.
Man, y'all know I love that.
Really, I'm a believer that it's always we do Today in Black History every episode.
Yes.
Because we are believers 365 Black, always celebrate your people, give your people flowers every day, especially those who are still living and making a difference.
Okay.
So that is, I think, the precedent that we've set and a belief that we all share that every day is Black History. Black people are doing something good. We live in an era where we can celebrate. And we see so many good things, and we're breaking barriers and glass ceilings. But it is Black History Month.
Yes.
And we are super excited. Carol's about to jump out of her seat. So, yeah. Tolerance with Audacity is the topic for today. I think it's something that we need to talk about. So, yes, it's going to be a good episode.
Yeah, for sure.
Jazz, how you been doing?
Oh, I've been amazing. Yes.
What's been going on with you?
Ooh,
You been
child.
sticking to the new year, new me?
I would like to say that my New Year's resolution, I jokingly said, just want $1 million. No big deal. Just drop that like that. I'm sticking to it. I'm trying to get there. But also to take care of myself in the meantime. More self-care this year. I would like to say that I'm doing that in the midst of moving and changing my life all the way around. So it's been a lot going on. Just been working. Like you said, we ain't take no breaks. No days off.
Remind the people of your motto. Are you still living by your motto, or has your motto changed?
Yeah, my motto was live and let live. And yeah, I'm still living love. For sure.
Okay, Kara, remind the people of your motto, and are you still new year, new me, keeping your goals?
I am not new year, new me.
Okay.
I don't do well with I just try to stay the same. And that is because of my motto, which is know thyself, love thyself.
Hello.
So I'm okay with myself. I know I could work on a couple of things, but essentially I know who I am. I'm happy with who I am. And so therefore I'm still trying to be that person.
I love it.
So yeah, but New Year's doing good, It's Black History Month, people. I'm all here for Black History Month. Every year I be posting stuff so y'all can learn a little something.
All right.
I look forward to your posts.
I know every day. Oh, what we got?
Learn a little something. I love it.
Extra work that I put on myself just cause. Just cause I like to give y'all what y'all want.
Yes.
And what I think y'all need, and luckily y'all like to read it. What about you, Jazz? Are you still a baddie? Have you turned in the baddie card?
Never.
Baddie for life.
B4L.
Wow. No, still a baddie. The motto is still the same. Remember who you are. So yeah, I think that carried me through 2020. Yeah, and I pray that it carries me through 2021. So, cause y'all know the shake's gonna come. It's gonna get a little rough, but you just gotta remember who you are through it all. And I think you'll be good. So, that's my motto. It gets me through. I am still keeping my goals. I am still working to pay off that car.
Yes.
I am still budgeting and getting that savings right. Those are my goals. I wrote it down and I'm sticking to it.
Nice.
So no new year, new me. I remember who I am every day and I stick to that.
I love it.
That's all I got.
Sometimes I have to remind myself who I am when people text me.
Oh,
and
well,
I'll be
all
like,
right.
Kara, you can't go to jail. So calm down. Because I feel sometimes, people, you be like, oh my God, you were here to test me today, huh? Like, you decided you wanted to be the one to test me today. Cool. Bet. I'm going to remember who I am, though, and I'm going to keep on going.
Tell them, sis.
I love it.
All right.
Sorry, that was just a little heat.
Let's get back into our tolerance that we're talking about, Kara.
Thank you.
And I know this is a little bit of not a heavy topic, but a bit of an educational piece. So we're gonna let you start it out since you've been all excited about Black History Month.
Yeah. So I definitely think that with what happened in 2020, as far as the protests that was happening, what happened in January 6th. That, the people stormed the Capitol about Black History Month. This is a conversation that I feel like has to be said and has to be continuously said.
Yes.
It's one of those things that you cannot forget. I always say that, like, two things have to be taught: democracy and tolerance. So the democracy has to be taught. That came from JFK. Tolerance has to be taught. I don't know who that came from.
But it gotta be taught.
But it has to be taught.
Yeah.
Because if not, then you're staying the same.
Right.
You're staying and you're having the same vision, the same eyesight, and the same type of outlook that you have to others. And so what this episode is talking about is really trying to bring others into ourselves and making sure that we're really just one. We are one, like Frankie Beverly says.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this episode it's just gonna be an education episode. I'm just letting y'all know now. Like, hopefully you learn something, and hopefully it'll change your mindset about some things. Because I know that, like I said, sometimes you can get heated. Sometimes the hate gets loud. The little thing in your head that's going off is like, do it, punch it, like, And hopefully this is gonna be one of those episodes that it's like, okay.
Center yourself.
Yeah.
Let's ground ourselves.
That's right, Jazz.
Love it. So, before we get into that, I would just have to say, shout out to our visual artists.
Yeah.
And shout out to
Jazz, would you like to introduce our artists? Go ahead, Jazz.
I'll introduce the visual artists. Usually we start off with the music. That's who you heard at the beginning. But if you are watching our video podcast on YouTube, you can see some great art by the lovely Showtime, Mr. Terrence, okay. Y'all, custom art, okay. Digital art, okay.
He did a custom piece for us.
Yes.
We're on this.
Like commissioned. Like, this is us.
It makes me feel special.
We are special.
Yeah. I mean, we came back with season 2 with commissioned art.
Right. We special, he's special. That's how we do.
The glow up.
Hey.
And our musical artist that you heard at the beginning, that you hear at the middle and the end, was Duke the guitarist. So yeah, he's super dope, y'all. So, I mean, we just coming in with some dope people.
I love it.
The art, the music.
Shout out to the artists, y'all. This whole season is like, I mean, y'all need to find these people. Y'all need to follow them. They need to book them. Y'all need to, like, literally purchase and put it in your house because it is amazing. It's like truly amazing. And I would say, like, even like, it's been so nice working with these artists, and now we have it that people will call me and be like, hey, do you have so-and-so who might be able to sing? And I'll be like, yeah, I do.
Heck yeah.
We could connect you.
Yeah, how much you paying? You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So, like, really and truly, thank you for all the artists, seriously.
Yes, for sure.
But yeah, To get back into the episode, tolerance. So I think that a lot of times we think of tolerance as in like I'm tolerating somebody. Mm-hmm. And so this first spiel is going to really give you a true definition of what these common words are that we assume that we know the definition of, but sometimes you really need to get a clear definition and one that is just straightforward and like therefore you're not guessing anymore. So when we think of tolerance, like I said, we're thinking about tolerating someone, but that's not what I want everyone to concentrate on. I want you to concentrate on this definition, which is sympathy or indulgence for beliefs or practices differing from your own and those that conflict your own belief or practices. So that's what we're talking about with tolerance. Basically, you're opening up your heart, you're sympathizing with somebody, and then you're even indulging in those beliefs. So therefore, you have a common ground or you have a better understanding. And I think that was just so needed, like I said, in the past year, even with coronavirus and just knowing what people are going through type of thing. Like sometimes it got so heavy that you forgot how heavy it was. You were just kind of skipping over it type of thing.
Going through the motions.
And I feel like sometimes I was talking to Lawyer Jazz about that. Like sometimes we even do that with like trauma in our own lives. We just skip over it, we make a joke, and then we keep on going, but it's something that you really have to dig deep in. So like I said, we have just a couple definitions that I'm going to run through. We're going to have it posted on our social media and on our YouTube, so then you can take these with you. So when you think about bias is an inclination or a temperament or outlook. So therefore you have a different temperament against someone else that is not yourself. Racism is the belief that a race is a fundamentally determinant of human traits and capabilities, and that racial difference produces an inherent superiority of that particular race. And then, we know as far as science, the differences between race is like 1.11111. So it's literally like race is a concept, right? Race is a concept that has been taught to us.
Right.
But race as a human race, it's no such thing. You can have nationality, you can have ethnicity, but as far as human race and how that goes into biologically, it's no difference at all, right? So we talked about tolerance. Next, I want to talk about stereotype. And I think that's something that, just like bias, could be taught. I think you can teach people
the stereotype.
For sure. Because how else would you have that embedded in you, or how else would you know it unless it's something that's taught?
Exactly. Which is why like I said, you have to teach tolerance and you have to teach the difference between stereotypes and actual traits of somebody, and knowing that not every trait is the same, or not every black person is going to act this way, not every Jewish person is going to act this way. So a stereotype is a belief, image, a distorted truth about a person or a group, and it's a generalization that allows for little or no individual differences or social variations. And so this is based on images in mass media, reputations that have been passed down by parents, peers, members of society. And the stereotypes can also be positive or negative. And so a lot of times we'll have it that we think that those of darker skin tone have negative stereotypes that are concentrated towards the end, where you might have like I said, Jewish people, a lot of people might think, oh, they have money. That's not how it works. Like, everyone has different circumstances.
Right.
And I think that's very important to point out. So then we also have prejudice. Prejudice is an opinion, a prejudgment, or attitude about a group or individual members. And again, this can also be positive or negative. So when you're shopping in the mall, they might say, oh, I'm going to be especially nice to this person because they look like they have money, or they look like they're from a certain background. Whereas another person might come in the mall and they might make sure that they don't have a good experience so they won't come back. That's that type of what I'm talking about. And it also can be accompanied by ignorance, fear, or hatred. So you have a prejudice against somebody because of a fear against that group, ignorance of that group, and that just goes back to, once again, tolerance, opening up yourself, being sympathetic, being indulging in other practices, so then you learn about different practices. The last thing that I would like to talk about is discrimination, and that's the behavior that treats people unequally because of their group and their membership. And so with these discriminatory practices, you can have hate crimes, you can also have those negative stereotypes and prejudices. So then within discrimination is like the umbrella of all of these things.
That's the behavior.
That's and that's what you can put in that is lasting, right? Because with the stereotype, with the prejudice, with even bias, these things are going into just a generational circle. But when you come in with discrimination, that's something that can be put into law. That's something that can be put into systemic policy. And therefore, you're not getting the same rate for a car, for a house. You're making sure that certain kids aren't going to school with other kids. That's how that, like I said, that umbrella of making sure that everything else goes underneath it, but also is lasting. Whereas, you know, you might have a grandmother that had a bias, but then because of the school that you went to, you were able to see that bias was, you know, false. It was untrue. But if that discriminational law is still in there, you might not be able to have that chance. So that's why discrimination is so important. So thank y'all for letting me do that, because I know it's like Kara was talking for a long time. But hopefully we got a deeper understanding of what these words are and what they mean and how they're used in day-to-day and even decades long of policy and initiatives. So getting into what we're gonna do with this, basically. So we learned about this, and of course some of y'all already knew about it anyway, but sometimes it's also just about the difference. I feel like bias and prejudice gets tossed and turned about doing the same thing. But when did you learn about bias or prejudice? Like, when did you have the talk? If y'all remember, it was like a commercial where I think it was like Dove or something. It was very random, but it was showing kids getting dressed with their parents and their parents giving them the talk about what it means to be black. Do y'all remember that talk? Do y'all remember like having a talk with your parents about the difference of you might be treated differently, or this is what it means to be black, or you might have to work harder because you are this kind of way? Do you remember that, Lawyer Jazz?
I honestly can't remember like a specific age, but I remember when I was growing up and living in my house, it was just me and my mom. And so she wasn't one of those parents like when I was watching TV that was gonna be like, oh, you gonna go in there and watch it by yourself. Like if I was watching something on TV, she was gonna be right there, because she was one of those parents who wanted to explain everything during a commercial. And I'm just like, man, I'm trying to watch Degrassi. Like, can we not right now? But if there was anything going on, if there was a heavy topic or anything like that, I might be sitting there kicking my feet in the air. But I can never remember a time where there was something on TV, whether it be about race, sex, drugs, anything, where like she was just gonna be like, she'll figure it out. No. Like she was always like, you need to know this. You need to understand it, especially about me being a young black woman and me not necessarily needing to. You need to have your education. You need to know what you want to do. You need to know that things may or may not be harder for you, not necessarily because you aren't educated and because you don't deserve, but just because of how you were born. And when I say how I was born, female, black. And that doesn't mean that every person that you meet is automatically going to look at you and disqualify you, but that just means that you have to work harder. And so when she was put in situations, and not from one telling me this when it came on the TV and I saw it, so she's going to be like, you see that? Let me explain. I'm trying to watch Degrassi. So, trying to watch TV, Mom. So she's going to tell me what I'm watching on TV, or if she's going through it and this happened to her, she's going to explain it. Lady, I am 11. But did not matter. Never sugarcoated it. Always let me know. And the older I got, and when I got in those situations, she'd be like, well, okay, just so you know, this is how it is. I've been there, done that. So, and then if she didn't have that particular experience, she'd be like, well, your dad, also, you need to call and talk to him, because I know he knows. I know he's been in particular situations. So my parents never sugarcoated what it would be like growing up or having the talk, or, being black in certain situations, what it means to be black, what it means to be black in higher education, what it means to be black excelling in the workforce. Never sugarcoated it. I can't remember the age. I just know they always talked about it.
It was just always.
It was always there. Yeah.
What about you?
I would say mine, it wasn't like, okay, this is the talk, like a whole, like, let me sit you down type of thing. It wasn't until I was being discriminated against. I went to a middle school that was not all black. Like, I went to all black elementary. I went to my neighborhood school before that. And now I'm in this mixed race school, which was majority white. And in New Orleans, I would like to say that race isn't as prominent as it is here in Alabama, but it definitely was there with, violations of dress code, of disrespect, or, whatever it was. Constantly in the first year, I had one black teacher and one white teacher. And my black teacher was my homeroom teacher. I didn't get in trouble till after lunch when I went to the white teacher. And it was just time and time again. And I was just like, not really understanding it. Like my mom, like my mom was explaining to me, like, they don't hate you. Now, it's not you, And she was like, you just can't do what everybody else do. And that rings true in my mind time and time again. Not just, okay, because you're black. It's just because you have a higher standard that you hold yourself to, period.
And that was my mom thing. It's not just because you're black. You just are held to a higher standard. Yep. And you just have to remember that. Yep. All the time, at all points. So I never lost my cool or was that person to go back and forth with the teacher. Like, I told you what it was, and if you didn't, feel that way, I got put out. I got sent to the office. I had to call my mama, and it was just like, okay, well, we'll figure it out, and I'll come down there. I won't say I was a troubled child, but I definitely was outspoken, and I made sure that if I had the same outfit on as my classmate, and I'm black and she's white, and you're only sending me to the office, this is extremely unfair, and I'll sit there and let everyone know. So, I mean, my mama just,
you remember that.
I remember, and I didn't think about it until now because my mom, she brought it up to me, and she let me know, like, look, teacher. So,
look, teacher.
So, I took dance for a long time, and I remember I was at Baldwin, and the teacher, she was just not, I ain't gonna call her name out because she doesn't deserve to be mentioned ever. You don't ever mention your haters. For what?
There you go.
That's right. I ain't giving credit out to nobody.
No, not at all. But she was just never a nice woman to me. Like, it was like she was just a not nice person to me. And I didn't bother anybody. Not then, not now. I was hee hee ha ha laughing, but that's me now.
Right.
And so I remember something happened, and I don't know what that lady, what she ate for breakfast that morning, but she sent something home and sent a report to my mom, and I was like, Mom, it did not happen like that. And after that lady was like, well, she's not getting promoted to level 3. But every other white girl that had was in the class with me and came in with me that I started with got promoted. And I said, now what in the what? And so my mom found that out. She was like, oh, no, we're not doing it like that. And she marched up there, and we had a whole conference. And she was like, now I know what we are doing, and this is not okay. Like, did not hide it from me. Did not hide that she thought it was fueled by who I was, a little black girl, and you promoting all the other little white girls. Why are we doing this? So, and I'm just like, in that moment, I think I was always aware, but in that moment, I was made aware. Yeah. And it was just like, really?
Shout out to Misty Copeland.
Hello. Okay. But I mean, people, it's like if you'll do that to children.
Yeah.
And I was literally a child.
A child.
And made to feel less
inferior. Inferior. That bias, child.
Yeah.
So I, like you said, I don't remember I do remember a talk, but I don't remember the age, and I definitely know it was young because my mom is a history nerd like I am, and I was learning Black history at when I could read, basically, is when I started learning it. Yeah. So, I remember reading a story about Ida B. Wells, and it was about lynching, and I was about first grade, and I, of course, am like, yo, what's up with this?
Whoa,
when they do that,
it's not llama red pajama,
right? Where they do that at? They did this, and so that was a moment where my mom had to sit me down and basically describe to me evil in the world, and also saying that there is a difference. Not every white person is like this. Most white people are not like this. Yeah. But at the same time, anytime that you can put a fire to hate, it's gonna flame. Like it's gonna come up. Yeah. And so, like for her to do that to me at a young age, I thought it was very important to who I became out to be, because I knew that, like you said, I had to hold myself to a different standard. I did that anyway because I was a Woods. Like I'm like that type of person who's like, I'm a Woods. I gotta represent for the Woods household, but then also representing for like all black people all the time. So that means like, I might feel a certain way, but I'm not gonna do all this and do all this because I'm not gonna let you have that power over me. But also knowing that because I was from Alabama, because I've gone to these museums, because I see your generations, I saw that like, like I am different, but I'm different in a beautiful way. Yes. Because our difference is we shall overcome. Yep. That's it. And so that, I think that illuminated my black pride. To realize that even when we were treated like dirt, we still gonna shine. Still I rise type of stuff. Exactly. And so like I remember that and being like, you know what? That's the way to look at it. Like that's the way to Ida B. Wells it. I'm gonna call you out and I'm gonna keep on grinding.
Ida B. Wells it.
Okay, I'm gonna call you out and I'm wearing my Shirley Chisholm pen. Yeah. Unbossed and unbothered.
I love it.
So
Shirley.
Yes, that's the way to do it. Oh, okay, all right. Stacey Abrams, I bet. We gonna turn it, and like that's what I live for. That's why I get so excited about Black History Month. It's just because it's like almost every story is about something that could have gone a different way. It could have been like, oh, they didn't fund me. Oh, they kicked me out. Oh, I wasn't able to be a part of this. And instead, it was like,
nope, I followed through.
I bet. Still I rise. I'll be well.
Despite it all.
Yeah, seriously. Unbossed and unbothered.
Right.
Like, and that's just like, that's what I took from that conversation. Yeah. And I hope that little black boys and little black girls everywhere, brown, like see that and be like, ooh, okay, all right, let me Kamala Harris it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me do this.
Something you just brought up though, Carol, when you were saying like something about generations, like I feel that the talk has to keep happening.
For sure.
I personally just feel like so many acts of hate and discrimination is being passed down, and this like prejudice is being ingrained in families and lineages, falsely, which is why I feel like it keeps coming up, in our times. And I also just feel like we got to keep reminding ourselves of who we are. Remember who you are.
I agree. Yeah. I agree completely.
But do y'all get frustrated that we have to not keep having the conversation of reminding ourselves of who we are and the power that can come from, our history and our culture and all that, because it's some of it is tragedy, but out of that tragedy came so many beautiful stories and so many but I feel like the conversation of being tolerant has to be had. The conversation of, well, you probably shouldn't say that, or well, actually that's not okay, or well,
don't make hasty movements,
right, or well, that hate actually was not okay. Like I feel like those conversations have to be had way too many times. Like it becomes frustrating.
Agreed.
And I feel like that conversation keeps coming up, and I don't understand why. Because you would think in 2021 we would be past it and everybody would just know that tolerance is the way to live.
Let me tell you why.
Break it down.
You would just think that this is how we should live and everybody should want peace, and we shouldn't think that way.
The reason why this is continually happening and will continue to happen is because black parents have the black talk with their children, but white parents are not having the white privilege talk with their children. And so if you don't know about white privilege, if you don't understand discrimination, prejudice,
or acknowledge it,
if you don't say, hey, you know, Tyrone gets in trouble because of this, and you don't get in trouble, and you know, Lil Ryan doesn't get in trouble because of this, if you're not setting these examples at a young age and showing the differences, then let me continue on in my private school with my all-white peers, and then I'm going to go to my fraternity with my
and
all-white
I don't
brothers.
care about people going to private school and all of that.
But what I'm saying is you have to have a opportunity to learn about different things.
For sure.
And if you only say I'm gonna make sure that my child is only in this small box because that's what I feel is safe.
Yeah.
Then they're not gonna learn different cultures, different beliefs, different backgrounds, different understandings, different circumstances. And so like that, to me, that's part of white privilege. It's like just saying I don't have to learn it because the world is my oyster.
Okay.
And like that's to me, I think that is changing just because my friends who are not black, they have this conversation with me.
Yeah.
And so I know they're gonna have this conversation with their children, but it's just so slowly going, and especially in the South, that it's kind of like, okay, how many more generations is this gonna take? Yeah. But I definitely think that, like I said, everyone who was protesting last summer, everyone who made sure they went to the polls and voted for that change, it's happening. Yeah. The change is incremental. And you know us, we want it to be
instant gratitude.
Yeah, seriously, yeah. Do y'all, and I know we've hit on it just a little bit because we talked about, you know, of course, tolerance is taught, but it's also something that you have to be open to. I feel. True, I feel like you have to be open to tolerance. Yeah. I feel like racism is taught, stereotypes are taught. But do y'all feel like people are born with like implicit bias? And if so, look at Dr. Jazz is looking at me. Like, if so, how can we overcome this? Like those implicit biases that people have.
And just to remind you, a bias is an inclination of temperament or outlook.
So,
Jazz, what do you think about that? Like, are people born with these things?
I want to say no. I'm looking at you because it struck a study. I know y'all
come on, talk to me.
I don't want to misspeak the lady name. Her name was Jane something. And she put a black doll and a white doll down and asked the kindergartners, y'all, young children, the doll test. What doll is the bad doll? What doll is the good doll? What doll is the pretty doll? You know, Jane Elliott.
Okay.
Jane Elliott. I want to say that's her name. You can verify. But I don't feel that those children were born with that. I feel that they were taught with that as they were growing up, knowing that they were not good or not treated as pure. It just was so... It's so wild to me saying a 5-year-old knows that they're getting in trouble more than their peer. Like, and they're automatically assuming that. I don't think that they're born with that. Period. I don't feel like I'm black and I think all black people are like me. Like, or I wake up, you know, from being born and I just think all white people are bad. I don't feel that way anyway.
Okay.
But it's just like, I don't think that people are born with that.
Okay.
By all means.
Kara, what do you think about that? Do you think people are born with an implicit bias? And if they are, is that something that they can overcome?
You know, I honestly don't know. I'll just say I honestly don't know, because I think that no matter what you are, if you like yourself, right, then you tend to be with others that look like you. So, like, even with like species of animals type of thing, like, you know, the frog doesn't go up to the lion and be like, yo, let's be friends. So I do think that as a child, me going into a space and I saw a black girl that I thought looked like me, I can see myself going up to that other little black girl and just doing it off of just instinct type of thing. And then at the same time, a little white girl would come up and I'd be like,
playing with
come
dolls
sit down. Exactly, come sit down. But like I said, it wouldn't be because I can see myself not in like actual past tense, but I could just see myself being like, oh, she looks friendly because I know I'm friendly, type of thing. And but then also going up and being like, well, would you like to sit down with us too? Because we're playing dolls, or we're doing puzzles. So I really don't know about the implicit. What I do know is that I always root for the black family on Family Feud.
See,
root for everybody black.
Yeah,
I love it.
I mean, I feel like I always thought, I guess until I looked at this true definition, that people were. But I also think that is something that you can overcome if you open your eyes and you are willing to learn. Because I feel like if you open your eyes, you're willing to learn, you open your heart, and you practice tolerance, why can't you overcome that? But I do understand Kara's point that as a child, I see somebody, if I'm a kid, I see somebody in the room who looks like me, I'm like, oh, hey. But I also remember as a kid seeing other kids who didn't look like me, and I would be playing whatever with
for
them.
Sure.
And as a kid, I still don't, because I have friends of other races, still do not care as a kid for sure, because children, their first instinct isn't like us to think like, oh, wait, black, white. You are taught that. I feel like that is something you are putting in a child's mind. So I definitely think that
it's nature. It's nurture over nature. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel
for sure. And can it be overcome? Yes,
yeah,
but only if you want to now.
Absolutely.
So
just to do a little pre-nugget of Today in Black History. So Kenneth Clark and his wife Mamie Clark were the psychologists that did the 1940s doll test. And Kenneth Clark was the first black president of the American Psychological Society Association. And so they were known for the black doll, white doll test, and then they used that in the case of Board versus Brown versus Board of Education. Yeah. Yes. So the Clarks.
Thank you. Jane Elliott is another good person who is a researcher.
Yeah, she probably did it again. Yeah. These were the originators, and she probably did it.
I want to go back into this. I think Jane Elliott was the one who made the kids with the brown eyes. Did y'all hear this one? Mm-hmm. So she pinned the kids against each other. The kids with the light eyes were like the superiors, and the kids with the dark eyes were the ones doing the work and like being treated bad. Like I'm going to go ahead and look that one up, because it was something that, and I feel like it's Jane Elliott, but it was just something where the kids actually started embodying that. Like once she was like, oh, you're the better ones with the light eyes, like they started acting better and treating the other kids bad.
Mm-hmm. My mom always says that. She was like, you never tell a child that they're bad, because then they expect to act like, then they'd be like, oh, well, I need to rise to that.
I'm bad.
Yeah, I need to rise to the occasion then. Like, if I'm bad, then let me be bad. And
it's like, well, I'm going to get in trouble anyway, so.
Right, exactly. So why should I care? And it's like, that's why every day you have to tell, you is kind, you is smart, you is important. Important.
Oh, God.
Yes, for real. So we talked about bias, we talked about prejudice, we talked about discrimination. Now we gotta talk about stereotypes.
Okay.
What is a stereotype that you feel like just has to be just cut it? Like, let's just end this right now. Like on today, we ain't gonna. This is not a thing no more. Like, Dr. Jazz, what's something that you just is like, nah?
I don't know how to phrase it, but people assume if you're black, you're poor or in poverty or less wealthy. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna say that's not what the census say. You know how black people are way less generationally wealthy than white people. But I want to dispel that. I wanted to turn it, over to be like, when you see a black, be like, oh, she a boss. Mm. Oh, she must got her own thing going on. Mm. Yeah.
Okay.
I want to do that.
Okay. Lawyer Jazz, what is a stereotype? Whether you have felt that, or you might even have a stereotype on other people that you want to say, you know what, starting today, I ain't gonna do that no more. What's a stereotype that you just want to say forever and never, amen, it's not true, and I know it's not true?
Oh man, because I would,
Dang, this this is getting deep. It's a cliffhanger.
Which one?
I know,
Dun,
right?
dun, dun, dun.
It's a cliffhanger.
You know, there are a couple. One that I'm gonna keep it cute. But because I was about to be like, did y'all think black people are eating fried chicken and eating watermelon? But because I don't eat watermelon actually. But
I eat both.
But no, that honestly, I feel like it's just a couple stereotypes. Like mine was kind of what Jazz said, but it is a stereotype that a lot of black people, like when you like who made it, like, oh, you must just be a statistic and got it out. Like you a struggle story who made it.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. And there's nothing wrong with the struggle story because maybe part of my life was a struggle. I have not always.
But it doesn't define you.
But that does not define you. And I'm not saying my life was or wasn't, but I have literally been in a room, looked at, and you think that I am just, oh, you made it, huh? You made it out. You made it out the hood, huh?
What's the...
Excuse me?
What? I'm so sorry. What's the when they like make sure that a black person gets into college?
Oh, you mean like affirmative action?
Yes, they think you're affirmative action child. Yes,
exactly. And so you think that either one, I can relate to the people in the hood, which maybe I can or maybe I can't, or that that's just my story. First of all, you don't know me from Sam. Mm-hmm. Second of all, why are you assuming that's my story just because I'm young and I'm black and I made it? Mm-hmm. I got to be a hood story that made it. Mm-hmm. That's not every black person's story. That is a stereotype. I have lived through it and I don't like it.
And I'll add on to mine just to lay it before I let you go, Dr. Woods, that black people spend frivolously. Like, we're in poverty because we want to be there. Mm-hmm. We can pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. Mm-hmm. Like, that's an option. Yeah. Like, I want that to be killed. Like, we're not lazy. We don't want to live on welfare. We're not, like, waiting on a government handout. Sometimes, that's how they set it up policy-wise. Woo! And it's systematic racism. I wanted to spell it. Because this discrimination, these prejudice, this bias, is ingrained. It's like, it's there. So the stereotype of like black people being poor, it's like, nah, that's how y'all put it.
So I was going to bring a book to put on our like little library part, and I didn't bring it, but it's called White Trash. And it goes to how white people have made sure that the policy that they put forth, and I'm saying white people because at that time only white people were in legislation, like they were only in Congress,
elected office.
Yes, we're putting forth policies to make sure that certain white people did not get above a certain stature and always stay white trash. So it's not just that black people are the poorest people.
Yeah, no, they did it to white people too, which is awful.
It's
a class system.
It's always been about the class. It's always been about the 1%. And like they've made it so then poor black people and poor white people hate each other. But all the time they're laughing to the bank because we over here scrapping for pennies. And they're making sure that everything goes in their little pockets. But it's called White Trash. It's by Nancy Eisenberg. But I was going to bring it today, and I said, no, I'm not going to bring it.
And I bought it up.
Yeah. I like to read that.
Yeah, right, me too.
Everybody thinks that, like, oh, these policies only affected black people. And it's not true. They wanted everybody to be
That's
poor.
What I'm saying.
And
poor had no color.
Yeah. They you're not going to become out of this class system. And it's like, India is not the only person that has a class system. Every society has a class system.
So true. I mean, there are a couple stereotypes, but I do have to agree with Dr. Jazz. Like, just because you see a black person, don't assume struggle. I must have made it out the hood, or that I'm just like a struggle. So I do not like that. It bothers me. You don't know if I did or not. Maybe I did, but do not assume that. That bothers me to the core.
I got one more, Carol. I'm going to see if you're going to say it. No, I want to see if you're going to say it.
Yeah, go ahead.
The angry black woman.
Yes! Thank you. I got a reason to be. If I won't do, I don't do that though. I don't do that.
Yeah. She said she don't.
I don't do that. But it's very well warranted.
If it comes out, then it's a reason.
But honestly, like we all sit here and we are all very much well educated.
Yes. But that don't mean I can't get angry.
Right, but I feel like we all have we're all professionals and we all have professions, and it's just like, first of all, I'm not gonna let you pull me out of my character.
Period.
Anything.
Remember who you are.
I remember who I am every day, so I don't let you pull me out of my character. But fighting against that stereotype is very frustrating on a daily basis.
Exhausting.
Tiring.
Mm-hmm.
Exhausting.
It is exhausting. So that is the number one stereotype. I take my other one back. That's the number one that I wish would go.
And excuse me, y'all, because I like I said, I am not trying to negate what 2020 was, but one of the best things that came out of 2020 was Nancy. That was one of the best things to show that, like, in Karen, Nancy and Karen's was the best thing to show that white people and white women get just as mad, and they call the manager just as much, and they get comp meals just as many times.
More than.
And then, you know, all that stuff. Karen, like that was one of the best things that came out.
Karens.
Yeah, Karens.
But I think, you know, it became such a angry black woman, and I think the Karen showed that, like, no, it's humans in general. Everybody has emotions. Everybody gets upset. You might have just caught somebody on a bad day, like.
But see, the difference between Karens and who they like to do.
Karen stuff was not warranted.
Shanae and Shalanda's, because you know they like to do that. Mm-hmm. The difference between Karen is entitlement.
Literally. Privilege.
And Shanae's is y'all purposely are giving her bad service because y'all think she finna have an attitude.
Yeah. Or not tip.
And that really happened to me the other day, where I had to look to my left and look to my right and be like, oh, this woman wants me to act up. Mm-hmm. And then, like you said, remember who you are and be like,
I'm not going to give it to you.
Mm-mm. It's an everyday struggle.
The best thing out of 2020, I promise you, was Karen. Because I feel like it showed light on Karens. Because somebody was sitting at home and was like, oh my God, I've done that. Oh my God, I'm Karen. Oh, like they did not realize they was Karen. And that's what I'm talking about, white privilege. But that's what I'm saying. So
if you recognize your privilege, though, I would be okay with that. I can have that conversation with you.
Right, but I'm saying it didn't take till Karens came up that some white person at home realized that they were a Karen. They just were living their life until they realized, oh my God, like I've done that. Like, and now hopefully they're ashamed.
And change their ways.
You
know, open to being tolerant.
Exactly.
I love it.
Yes. So that's what we're just, the angry black woman, y'all. Like, we really not angry.
We not. We just tired.
We don't roll our neck any more than anybody else. We don't roll our eyes more than anybody else. We don't snap in a circle 3 times. Like, we don't do all that. I think
it's just been something that's been built up, and it's just almost been made into like a character.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
And it's been made into something
like
that's
a minstrel.
You know, it's literally like a character. Like, oh, this is what it is, and it's just like, that's not
like
cute.
You said, it's the new Jim Crow minstrel. Of like,
we are, and we gotta, you know, keep doing what we doing, because I ain't gonna give it to them.
No.
We're gonna get people some music though.
Yeah, let's give them some music from Duke the Guitarist.
Yes. All right, thank you so much to Duke the Guitarist. We appreciate you. I mean, nasty with it. And it's time for Today in Black History.
Yay!
Yes, and it's Black History Month.
Okay.
So, I mean, like, y'all do y'all did. Like, so I would just say this is not even my resource. I just want to say that every year during Black History Month, I try to educate myself, which means that I try to either go to a play, I try to read a book, or I go to a museum that I am locally near and support, and also try to learn something new. And because they do put in new art, they curate new things.
For Black History Month.
Yeah, exactly. So that's just, you know, my homework to you is like, if you can, go to a museum if they're open and try to learn something new. Yeah. Because you might hear the same story 15 times, and 15 times you might learn something new, especially if somebody new is, like, you know, bringing you around. They might have intel that you didn't know. And Montgomery is the perfect place to do that. So, today in Black History, W.E.B. Du Bois was born on this day, February 23rd in 1868. Wow. He is a Fiskite. He was a graduate of Fisk, and then he was also the first Black African-American to earn a doctorate from Harvard.
Okay.
And he was also the co-founder of the NAACP.
Boom. So, might as well.
Du Bois. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. Do y'all have some resources for the people? And when we're talking about our tolerance episode, trying to bring it all to a human race. Yeah. What are some resources that y'all have?
I know we said this resource a couple times last season, y'all, but I just want to bring it back in. Therapy. I feel like therapy gives you an outside perspective on your inside look and your own bias. So, check in with a therapist. If you constantly having the same situation, if you feel like you might be a Karen, or, you just got some issues that you got to work through.
Or a Molly. I'm just going to say on Insecure.
Molly's very privileged.
Yeah, Molly always thinks it's somebody else.
Yeah.
And then it's like, no, Molly, it might be
you. just need to do your own self-check.
Yeah, just some self-check sometimes. Am I tripping?
You got to be open to that. That's what tolerance is about. Mm-hmm. I love it. That's my resource.
My resource is, since, it's still the beginning of the year, I always like to center myself, and Kara's going to show y'all, I like to center myself with, Jesus and get myself right. So I have been gifted this devotional planner book by Dr. Nettles. So I'm going to post it on the page. I will also try to post the link as well. But yeah, Dr. Nettles has written this devotional planner. You can also... she's also written books as well. So, yeah, it's really great. So, y'all get into that. Kara is showing it on the YouTube. But it's a 2021 devotional planner. So, yeah, that is my resource for the episode. Kara, what you got?
Okay, so mine can be lengthy because y'all know me. So, one resource is the tolerance.org, which is if you're a teacher or if you can teach in some type of capacity, you can actually get a full handbook learning process report of how you can take it into your school and how you can teach tolerance. And so you can do this, like I said, if you are a teacher and you have some type of backing of organization, you can make that part of your curriculum and you can teach the new generation about what tolerance is and also teach them about what's happening in the world and how to make sense of it, how to make sense of the George Floyd shooting, how to make sense of protest, how to make sense of the difference between what's happening. It's all on tolerance.org. Another resource is reachbeyondbias.com. They also have a podcast, but you can go on there and you can test your bias to find out if you're a bias. So, and that's through implicitharvard.edu, but you can find that resource on Reach Beyond Bias. I also have a book by Rennie Edo Lodge. And it's Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race. And it's very important just because it breaks down what we've been talking about this whole time, about the difference with white privilege and how sometimes it just doesn't get seen in the certain light that you really want it to be seen. And it breaks it down of stereotypes and no, we ain't doing this no more. But my other books are just Black History books. And these are just books I feel like y'all just need to have at your house. And so you have the little books like this, like Who Is. Yeah. So I sell those at Books A Million. They sell them at Books A Million. They're $5 each, guys. So if you have a little kid that's in your world, they need books like this. And they have them for everything. What is Mount Rushmore? What is, the Empire State Building. Yeah. And then Who Is? So I have Ida B. Wells, because y'all know that's my girl. And then I have Stevie Wonder, because that's my boy. And I also have these two books, and I love these books. Yeah. These are for little peoples too, y'all.
Yeah. Little leaders.
And I say little people, but I definitely got them for myself. So little leaders, and so we have literally bold women in Black history, and then we have exceptional men in Black history. And so you'll learn everything from Angela Davis in here to Tuskegee Airmen in here, and it's amazing. And so then the last book is just Black First, and it's just nice to know who was the first Black person to do what. And then you have those little nuggets, and yeah, like I said, this book is an old book that has been in my house for a long time, and yeah, like I said, educate yourself. Don't be afraid to go and learn something that you think you already know.
Yep. All right. So, who wants to tell them what our charity for the month is? Kara, who we got?
We have the National Center for Civil and Human Rights, and this is based in Atlanta. It is a museum. You can go and visit it. It's like in the triangle of the Koch Center, the aquarium, and then the human rights, the one that everyone misses that y'all don't go to. Yeah, go to it. It's an amazing center, and the reason why is because it's about civil and human rights. So you really see how civil rights and human rights starting with like the 40s and the 50s, the lunch counters, and then it goes all the way up to now, going into gay rights, going into women's rights. It is amazing. And like one of the things that you can do is sit at the lunch counter and put on headphones. And
I love those. Listen to oral history.
No. So what you do, you pretend as if you were a sit-in person. Oh. And so in the headphones are people yelling at you and telling you to go home and like, you know, you don't belong here. Exactly. It gets you in that idea of what people had to do and the sacrifice that they were taking. And it's so amazing because as you're sitting there, sometimes like the chair can move up a little bit.
Oh, wow. People are pushing you.
Yeah, so you really get that true feeling.
Oh, it's like a ride. It's like not a ride, but like a stimulation.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that really, really stuck with me. The National Center for Human and Civil Rights, like I said, is based in Atlanta. It's part of that 3 that you forget to miss. And I'm also wearing a pin from them today. Yeah. And so, that's the charity of the month because tolerance has to be taught.
Yeah. So just like we did for season 1, for season 2, 10% of the merch sales will go to our charity of the month, y'all.
Get your merch.
So y'all, it's time to plug. You know, I'ma just give a real big shout out, y'all, to the visual artists. You know, Showtime. Okay, Showtime _showroom. Check them out. IG, all that. It's Terrence Jackson, y'all. For real. I'm showing all my.
What she say is all about the tea.
It's all about the tea. But we got some custom art. He is commissioned, so you know, y'all. It's digital art.
He's talking about feeling special,
right? Really special. He's also a painter, so it's not just digital art. But you know, you can do whatever you want. Hit him up.
But don't get crazy.
Yeah, don't hit him up for real like that. Just on the art, because you know.
I'm so weak. Follow our music artist Duke the Guitarist. You can find him on IG at Duke_the_guitarist. It's easy like that, or you can go on the web DukeTheGuitarist.net. Thank you so much. Yes.
Y'all already know, just like season 1, season 2, follow with Audacity. 1, on all streaming platforms. We live, baby. 2, turn on your post notifications so you don't miss anything and you are always plugged into with Audacity. 3, follow us on all social media, MySpace, Facebook, Twitter. Put us on your top 8.
Okay.
And with Audacity. And if you want to follow me, Lawyer Jazz, I am still on IG at _3_jazz, baby.
Okay.
I'm Kara, and you can follow me at FlipsPro. That's why I'm still Kara the normal.
I'm Kara. I love it. All right, y'all. I'm Dr. Jazz 2020 or Magnolia Soldier SOULJA _.
Everybody just love when Jazz talk. They be like, I love hearing her talk.
Good.
Me too.
I'm born with it.
Oh.
All right, y'all. I think we out.
Oh, man. Season 2, we back. We are here. Y'all just stay tuned. We cooking up some heat for y'all. But for now, y'all stay tuned to the next episode. We out this thing, man.
Peace, love, and
soul. Bye, baby.
I swear. What's your Hattie Mae?
Hattie Mae. Bye, y'all. See y'all next time now. everyone's listening and watching you now.
Oh my God. Is this thing on?
Is this thing on?